Hey guys, and welcome back to Regrexit, Brexit Britain, a country who believes it has the right to tell Russia what to do, even though it can't tell Israel to stop committing an apartheid on the Palestinian people. Last week, the most important story all over Britain, I even heard it up till 4 a.m. on Monday morning. This morning, I was hearing it up till 4 a.m. was the kicking of a cat. So, the question is this: is the life of a Palestinian worth less than the kicking of a cat? Because this story about Israel being branded an apartheid state by Amnesty International has had no media anywhere in the world. Which, to me, I don't know. And also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages you sent me, and a special thanks here to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go through all your messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all messages for definite. So, we start with a story out of Chester Zoo, because they've just had a new birth of an aardvark. The aardvark is as cute as hell when you see this little fella, right, or lass. I don't know if it was girl or boy, to be honest, right? But I think them, because the way how they were speaking about it, I think aardvarks must be an endangered species. I must to take it. I don't know why. I think I should have to watch some more Attenborough to find out. But I think that is the first ever birth of an aardvark in Chester Zoo. Right, so I don't know if there's been other aardvarks born in this country. There may well have been. They might not have been. I don't know if aardvark is a delicacy somewhere, because you know what man is like, and if the Chinese believe that that somehow in the shell, right, is some type of medicines. Right, then then the aardvark could be in danger there. But I can guarantee if the aardvark's in danger, right, somehow it's got something to do with human beings. Right? And I'm only speculating, but I believe that would be the case. Somehow it would have something to do with human beings as to why, right, the aardvarks, right, are because I think there's quite a few of them in captivity. So I don't know, but I don't know. I'll have to look into that and find out. Right. I don't know if you saw what happened in New Zealand, yeah. Because obviously they've got the what's going on in Canada has spread over to New Zealand as well with the truckers, right? So and they're outside the New Zealand Parliament, right? So the New Zealand just decided, what, we're going to get heavy-handed with these people. We're going to get really heavy-handed with them, right? And we're going to teach them a good old-fashioned lesson. Right, because the police out there, right, are like, what, we don't get much chance to use our right gear, mate. So this chance we're going to get to use our right gear, and we're going to use it. Okay. So the police obviously got themselves G'd up and everything. Do you know what I mean? And then the New Zealand authorities decided that they were going to turn the sprinklers on. People, and if that wouldn't do it. Then they decided, you know what we're going to do? We're going to blast out some Barry Manilow and Coco Cabana. And already, yeah. If you go to a party, yeah, and you don't get some Coco Cabana, right, then it ain't a good party. Right? So they blast that Barry Manilow out to the people to try and disperse them, right? And the Macarena. That Spanish tune, the Spanish hit, the Macarena, right? Those blasted that. That's like the Spanish version of Whoops. There it is. They just blast it out. And already, yeah, the party don't start till they bust the Macarena. Okay, you want to see me busting the Macarena, right? I can bust you. Right? Trust me on this, right? So that's how the New Zealanders decided they was going to deal with the protest, right? And that's just so typical of the New Zealanders. So typical. I don't even think that. I'm not sure whether they've got riot police, to be honest. I'm not sure, but I did enjoy the hacker. There's some guys that over there done just the hacker Reddit where they do their, they do all that thing. Them and people from Samoa do that thing when they're trying to frighten their enemies away, right? So yeah, I quite enjoyed that, right? Where they done the hacker. That was quite funny. Right, and I don't know if you know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is, but Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's basically Liz Truss and Nadine Dorries on steroids, right? A few years ago, she put a campaign video out, right, where she wrote socialism on a car, and then she back with a big gun. This must have been at least a 50 caliber, like long barrel, right, gun, right, and it was enough to blow up the small SUV. Let's put it that way, right, because it was an SUV, like the size of a Ford Galaxy, right, and she had written socialism on the side, and she fired and blew it up. Right, so you could tell she's clearly out of touch, especially when people are going into schools and shooting up schools. The last thing you need as a politician is to be somehow promoting guns, because people kill people with guns. Yeah, they say guns don't kill people. People kill people. Yeah, but they do it with guns. Right. So Marjorie Taylor Greene decided that she was going to go on a rant. And as per usual, right, right wingers, right, they can never ever, especially when you put the wrong people you vote the wrong people into politics, they never let you down. Especially like when you say, well, this person would be a nightmare. That person will never ever let you down when it comes to public speaking. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, she decided to put a video out, right, where she described the way how the Democrats have sent out the authorities to look into obviously the whole January the 6th thing, right? It's like the gazpacho police, right? Now, I thought, hold on, because I saw the video, right? I saw the video before. Right, before the whole story came out. I must have saw the video pretty early because I like to keep an eye on Marjorie Taylor Greene because she is very, very stupid and she always gives you brilliant quotes. Right, so, and I was thought to myself, Gazpacho police. Was like, is that some type of? Because I'd never heard of them. Because I've heard of the soup. There's a gazpacho soup from Spain. So I'm thinking to myself, are these like police officers that go around eating soup? Or is there somewhere in Spain called Gestapo, and that's what she's talking about? She's talking about those police officers. And I thought, there's no way that she could be thinking like the Gestapo. She couldn't. No, she couldn't liken, right, the authorities going after the people from January the 6th as like being the Gestapo. So I was like, it's got to be the Gazpacho police. There's got to be someone out there. And I did search, and I just kept coming up with soup, right? And then obviously later on it all started to come out that she actually meant the Gestapo. Right? She put the video out. Right? She's put the video out, right? And you think, oh my god, see. This is the thing with the right wingers, yeah. They can always, right, never ever let you down. They're very good at that. And obviously, Dame Dick has resigned. Dame Cressida Dick, right, the flat arse police commissioner has resigned. Her backside is very flat, so that's why I said that. Because the woman's got a flat arse. That's not my listen. That right is not. That's not me. That's just a fact. Okay, that's a fact, right? But they're looking at Cressida Dick as if to say that she's like the new kid on the block. The woman's been in there for 40 years. Yeah, she's come out of the Sweeney days, right? That's what you got to understand, right? She was when she was the Met Police's golden girl. Right, from ever since, because she went to Cambridge and she went to Oxford, right. So from ever since she was the golden girl, right. So they pushed her in that way, right. But they expect her to make changes now. Do you know what I mean? When she's like an old-fashioned copper. Do you know what I mean? Look what she said about Wayne Couzens. She said he's a bit of a bad un. Who says that? Only old-fashioned coppers. Okay, that's the thing. Do you know what I mean? So she's like that guy she's come from the times of like that guy from Life on Mars. Do you know what I mean? It's a whole joke. You know what I mean? She should have gone a long time ago anyway. And the Education Secretary has said children should be seen and not heard, you little bastards. That's what he said. Right. The education secretary, Nadhim Zahawi, right, is a damn fool. The man's an idiot, right? Because you know what happened, right, was some school kids was given a was actually showed a news round, right? And the story was about obviously Boris Johnson and Partygate. So the teacher said, well, listen, you know what? If you all want to write a letter to the Prime Minister about the story you've just seen, go ahead and do that. So they all wrote a letter to Boris Johnson and sent him the letters, right? And told him exactly what they think of him. Told him exactly how they feel about the situation. Right, but I think they actually told him exactly what they thought of him, right? And this enraged, right, our education secretary so much so that he said children should keep their motherfucking ass out of politics. Keep your ass out of politics, he said to the children. The only children who should be involved in politics here are children from Eton. He was thinking that last bit. Right, that's what he was thinking of the last bit, because you know the last thing they want, right, is for children who go to like your regular secondary schools to know anything about politics. No, you know what? Keep them dumb, keep them stupid. Don't worry about politics. Go and play football, and talk about get the little boy talk about girls' boobs. Don't worry about politics. Politics is not for you. That's what he said to them. Politics is not for you. Right, you see, when sometimes with these people, the mask, it just slips down, right, and that's a classic case where you know what, the mask has just slipped down for him, because now he's telling children, you know what, don't get involved in politics. Who the fuck do you think you are, right? What has politics got to do with you? Do you know what I mean? The little buggers have been locked down for the last 2 years. Right, so I'm sure most children have studied a lot of politics, right, in the last 2 years, because their parents were doing speaking about what's going on. So a lot of them there would have been a lot of, right, politics speaking in these children's houses, and then for this man to turn around to children and say, you know what, fuck you little bastards, don't you dare speak about politics. Who the hell do you think you are? Right? Because you know why? Because they've decided they're going to criticise the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister, right, was having parties while these children was locked down. Right? The children, right, some of them found it very, very hard being locked down. Right? And they see stories about the Prime Minister having parties, and if they try and express themselves, right, to the Prime Minister, his ministers around him think it's, especially the education minister, thinks it's completely acceptable, right, to say to kids, shut up, right, you little bastards, right, we've got nothing to say to you. Right, just absolutely, just completely, just so ridiculous, just really, really ridiculous, right? And I don't know if you saw Liz Truss in Russia, right, go and make a complete fool of herself. Right. Liz Truss has gone over there to go and speak. Let me ask you a question, right? This is a question for everybody, right? Do you think that you could be the foreign secretary of this country? And I'd say to you, yes, because I guarantee you that you'd do a better job than Liz Truss, right? Because what you've got to understand here is there's very few people in this world, very few, right, that would go and see someone like Sergei Lavrov, right, and without, right, reading your brief properly, knowing what you're going to speak to him about, right? Now, Liz Truss has made a major mistake, right, by going over there, right, and mixing up regions of Ukraine and Russia, right, and she's done that to Sergei Lavrov, right. Now, at that point, he's probably just thought, ooh, this woman's a fucking dummy. She's an idiot, right? So at that point, he must have just shut off, because it would be like someone coming to England, right, to speak about England, right, and then mentioning Dumbarton as if to say it was in England to you, and you'd be like, well, you do realise that Dumbarton is in Scotland, right? It's not in England. That's what it's like to Sergei, right? So he's gone. So they're having a press conference, right? And she's come on very strong, and she said this and she said that, and she said a lot of stuff, and that made her sound as if she was very tough, as if to say Russia was going through. Ooh, actually we better not do it because you know what, Britain, you know, if we do it, then Britain's going to do it, right? Not that Britain is standing behind NATO and America, because you know, if Britain wasn't standing behind NATO and America, do you think that Liz Truss could go over there, right? You know, to go and try and get that Margaret Thatcher look with the hat, because that's what she tried, right? You think she could go over there? Do you know what I mean? If it was just us without the backing of NATO and the Americans, yeah, she'd have some luck, right? So she's speaking very tough, and Sergei Ledrov, he's just come on, and he's just letting you know, because this man, right, he's one of the world's biggest trolls. You can't go to these people, right, in front of them, right, and make mistakes. You can't do that. It's a very stupid thing to do. You've got to know your brief 100%. So that's what I say to you, right? This is what I say to you, that you could do that job because you would have, every other person. As I said, there's very few people in the world, and unfortunately for us, Liz Truss is that person. She's one of those people that would go over there and try and wing it, because that's what she done. She just went over there and tried and wing it. And next thing, Sergei Redrov is calling her. He's in the press conference calling the woman a dummy. Right? She's deaf. She's a fool. She's a dummy. She's a damn idiot. I was like, I wanted to fight Sergei. At this point, I wanted to fight Sergei Redrov. I wanted to fight, but at that point, I was like, how dare you speak about, right, one of our politicians in that way? And I thought, oh God, it's Liz Truss, and she's gone over there to make a damn fool of herself like a freaking idiot, right? And do you know, right? Let's talk about some Brexit quickly, right? Because I'm already over my time. I'm only like 16 minutes in, so let's talk about some Brexit, right? So look, it used to cost us, right, 10 billion a year, right, to be in the EU, right? It's now costing us 27 billion a year to deal with the EU. Just, you know, I just think to myself, well, is that just not typical of Britain, right? To have something, right, and then to sell it, because you know we've sold off all of our utilities and all that, but we was in the EU, right? Then we come out of the EU, and now we're paying nearly 3 times, right, to trade with the EU. I mean, I don't know what kind of sense that makes. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but to me, it sure bloody doesn't. Right? And Jacob Rees-Mogg, right, has been begging people in the Sun, please, could you please come up with something as a Brexit benefits? Could you tell me some, please? What are they? Do you know any of the benefits that there are to Brexit? Do you know what I can do? I've got a new job, a new flashy title. I've got a ministerial car and everything. Please, 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 please. And I'll stop being so stupid and making stupid quip remarks. You know, thinking that food banks are uplifting, because they're not. They're charity, and charity is no good. It's not fair. It's because, you know, the government, us, you know, we'll do better. So please, could you please tell us? Jacob Rees-Mogg has been begging people in the Sun to tell him what he can do in his new job. I'll tell him what he can do in his new job, and it's an old-fashioned British gesture. That's what you can do in your new job, Jacob Rees-Mogg. Anyway, guys, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm James's Job Drew. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.